Hello. Welcome to the Pitchy Podcast. We're your hosts, James
and Stephanie.
Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we are always passionate about good music and a great vocal. We'll use the vehicle of NBC's The Voice to give you our take on each contestant. We'll give you our feedback on their voice and their overall performance. Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we'll always keep it 100 with our feedback and critique of each contestant's vocal and overall performance. But what we're never here to do is come for anyone's character or any contestant as a human being. Sometimes we come off a little pitchy at times, if you know what I mean, but we'll always use our platform to speak truth with love, kindness, and respect. And with that, let's get started with the last night of our blind audition. Stephanie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, James. How are you?
Enjoying this lovely day. Yes. Spring has sprung.
Yes.
And we are officially into spring now. And it was a little cold entry into spring, but yes, today and tomorrow are going to be gorgeous. And yes, I'm excited about it. But this are not excited about it. All of you out there that are suffering from those seasonal allergies.
Right.
The Pitchy Podcast feels you.
Yes, absolutely.
So last night was our final night, only an hour episode, and we got our last teams locked in, or all the teams locked in last night, and boy, did we get them locked in.
Yes.
And we've also got some crazy news coming down the pike for The Voice that you're going to tell us about at the end of the episode.
Yes, can't wait.
So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Who do we have first?
First up was NariYella. She's 20 years old, and she's originally from Louisville, Kentucky. She sang One Night Only from Dreamgirls.
You want all my love and my devotion. Hey!
James, you've heard this song before?
Just a little bit. Okay, so this song, if you didn't know, is from one of mine and Stephanie's favorite musical, Dreamgirls, sung originally by the incomparable Jennifer Holliday. A little fun fact, she was 22 years old when she premiered this role on Broadway, which is insane, and won the Tony Award for it. And then, some 20-some years later, out of nowhere, a little singer who didn't go too far in a singing competition, you may have heard of her, another Jennifer that we might all know and love, took this role and ran with it in the major motion picture debut, and she happened to win every award imaginable. And that would be Jennifer Hudson, who won the Oscar for Effie White. Okay, so when I heard NariYella was going to sing this song, I was like, whoa. In fact, Stephanie and I were recording from Monday's episode, reaction episode, when NBC released, or leaked, as we like to call it, NariYella's performance. So Stephanie and I were like, and really anticipating getting off the podcast. Because when I saw it was One Night Only, and Stephanie said, okay, James, we're not going to watch until after we get done recording.
Business first.
Because she knew how excited I got.
Yeah.
Because I'm a musical theater nut. And we had to take care of business and record. So the second we got off, I think we both put it in our good ears since we were already recording.
Right.
So this was a performance that we watched before we even saw it on the television that night. And let me tell you, this young 20-year-old woman had a voice the size of, I don't know, the Empire State Building.
Yes.
I mean, her voice, I was like, whoa.
Right.
I didn't expect, I don't know what I expected, But we all know that you got to come with it. This song is not a small feat. It's one of the most difficult songs in the musical theater book, right? Song book. So the thing that jumped out about NariYella first for me that I loved was her confidence.
Bingo.
I thought her confidence came so strong through the performance. And you do have to be extremely confident to, number one, take this song on, to number two, sing it, and to number three, sing it well.
Right.
And I was like, wow, she is young. Like 20 is barely out of your teens.
Right.
And she was confident. I love the little nuances, like to show us how confident she was with her voice and this song.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was like when Niall turned around, she like waved at him.
Love that.
In the middle of the song.
In the middle, yes.
And Kelly was like, "Did you see that?" and she gave what I like to call an undeniable performance.
Right.
She's like, and I'm stealing from another huge song, or the biggest song from the show. She said, "You're gonna love me."
Yes. Yes.
She said, "You're gonna love me."
Absolutely.
The other big song, or the biggest song from Dreamgirls, and I'm telling you, I'm not going. It's like she grabbed them by the shirt. You know, some of us when we were little, we got grabbed by the shirt by our
we did.
Parents or guardians, and got pulled in and said, "You're gonna love me." And that's what I felt she did with her voice. That's what I felt she did with her performance.
Yeah.
And you know what? She was a 4-chair turn.
Yes, she was.
I love that they showed a 4-chair turn off the jump last night, because a lot of times they won't do that on the show. Like they'll strategically place them at the end or somewhere, you know, where we're not expecting. But the voice was like, "We want you to take notice of this young woman." And then, because Stephanie, you and I know this is still a competition, and popularity has a lot to do with this competition.
Yes, it does.
So I'd be remiss without talking about her kind of interview. I like to call it an interview, like after they get done singing.
Yes.
Stephanie, like any other person, take notice to how she interacted with these coaches.
Yes.
It was an incredible balance of realness, starstruck, but not giddy starstruck, but also talk to them like she had been all their friends.
Right.
Right? Did you notice that?
Yeah, and not in like a not in like a disrespectful way.
No,
but a very just like, I'm confident in me, and I respect you all, but also you're just people too. These coaches that they have on this show are some of the most down to earth. Once you start, once they start interacting and you see them talking amongst themselves and to the artists, you could see how down to earth they are. So I know that they appreciated that. Also,
in a lot of personal conversations that we have had with previous contestants from last season, they all said how down to earth these coaches are. Like, they were like, you know what? And a lot of them are who you see on camera. It ain't a put on. It's really who they are. Right. They're really that cool. They're really that generous. They're really that chill, as a lot of them said.
Absolutely.
I remember someone even saying like how motherly, say, Gwen Stefani was.
Yes.
And that's just who she is.
Right.
And so what I want all other contestants to really take notice as to what she did, because you know what? She said, "You're going to love me" by her voice. And she also said, "You're going to love me" by her personality.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's going to take NariYella very far in this competition, because America's got to love you. Right. And America's going to love her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's my take. Great audition. Very bold. And very, I would say, almost risky audition piece. Like yesterday when Rachel auditioned with Uninvited.
Yes,
that was a very risky audition.
Absolutely. Yes.
But risk pays off. And when it pays off big.
Bingo.
And it paid off for NariYella.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm so interested to hear, because I know you had told me, Stephanie, you were like, I'm going to go back and really listen to this one. What's your take on NariYella?
Well, before we even heard her, we saw her. Like, they had a shot from behind, and she was in the shadows. And
yeah, they hit her, didn't they?
Yeah, and they had her hand, like you could see her hand kind of doing like this little dippy thing, and her stance. And the first thing I thought before I even heard her sing was, she has poise. Like, she has been on this stage before. Yeah. That type of poise continued on through the entire performance. And as you were saying, even into as she was interacting with the judges.
It's an X factor, right?
Yes, it is.
It's a what's the word? Is it unintangible or intangible?
Intangible.
It's the intangibles.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like, I just can't put my finger on it.
It's just that thing. Yeah.
It's just that thing. Yeah.
It's that thing.
Yeah.
When she did open up her mouth, the voice was powerful. The voice was rich. And she made some really interesting and cool melodic choices, especially at the beginning of the song. And there was a certain point, I believe before it got to One Night Only, where a bunch of at least two of the judges hit their button. And it was at that point that I even, like, I took note to the choice that a couple of the choices that she made melodically, and was like, oh,
no one's ever done that.
Hit my button. Yeah, I would have hit my button then too.
Yeah.
And again, just the level of confidence you have to be on stage. And when one of the coaches turns to be like, hey, like, I just thought that was so.
I was like, the goal, but I was like impressed. Like,
yes.
Oh, no, she didn't.
Yes.
Like, but in a good way.
In a good way, because that just showed even more of her personality.
She was always in control.
Stage. Absolutely. What I will be interested to see and anticipating seeing maybe in the next round, because this song is so big and it kind of stays big. I thought of, I forget the previous artist from this season who auditioned to the song Emotions. I would love to hear NariYella sing something like Emotions and see how she taps into the softer side of her voice. Mm-hmm. But this was a stellar audition, a stellar way to top off or begin the night on the last night of blind auditions. So congratulations.
Like, seriously, NariYella. And it was Tiana who did Emotions.
Oh, thank you. Yes,
yeah, Tiana.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah. And the younger singers are bringing it this season too, Stephanie.
Yeah, we're going to see that with our next contestant as well.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed, especially last night, but throughout this whole season so far, with how much poise and professionalism and experience some of our younger contestants seem to have and have displayed so far.
Awesome. So what's our who did she pick? I can't remember, like, off the top of my head. I really forgot.
She picked Coach Chance. Mm-hmm.
That's a strong pickup for Chance.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
Strong.
And that completed his team.
She's like, what did she say? She said something that I thought was that tickled me a bit. So, oh gosh, what is going on here? Or something.
Yeah. She did say something like, "Oh, let me catch my breath," or something like that.
Let me get myself together.
Let me get my life together. Hold on. I was like, that's something I would say.
I was like, I like you, NariYella. I like you.
Yes.
Because you just keep that's keeping it real.
Keeping it real, exactly.
Like, ooh, this is a big moment.
Hold on,
let me get myself together.
Exactly. Yes.
That's great.
Yes. So the couple fun fact about her is that she has performed at the Apollo Theater, and she's also performed alongside Kathy Sledge of the Sister Sledge.
Wow.
And if you're not sure if you've heard a Sister Sledge song before, you have. We Are Family.
I was about to say, one of their biggest songs ever.
Absolutely.
It's the biggest songs ever to come out in the 70s, really.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, she's like, I've been singing profession since I was 10.
Right.
And she's 20. half
yes,
my life.
Exactly. Half her life. Yes.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, can't wait to see what's going to happen with NariYella.
Absolutely.
All right, who do we have next?
So next up was Grace West. She's 19 years old. She's originally from Canton, Michigan, but now she resides in Nashville, Tennessee. And she sang Maybe It Was Memphis by Pam Tillis.
Let me tell you something about Grace. We all know how well country singers do on this show, number one. And to me, she has been the most authentically country sounding singer that we've had this entire season.
Yeah,
and,
I was trying to
I can't
look
say
back.
so far because everyone's picked now, right?
Right,
So
right.
she is our most,
right.
in my opinion, and I'm going to assume you too, Stephanie, she is probably our most authentically sounding country singer.
Yeah, I think so.
You know
I
what
couldn't think of
heard?
anybody else.
I heard a young Reba.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
I
That's
heard
what I said.
a young Reba with a little Carrie Underwood in her voice. Like crazy. Like I was like, who is that? Who is that? But she has a higher timbre in her voice than Reba.
Yeah.
Because Reba's more of an alto.
Yeah.
I think she's more of a second soprano. But I heard her phrasing was very Reba, right? I see, Stephanie and I are always always. Like, this is why we started the podcast, y'all. This is like, seriously, because Stephanie and I would be thinking the same thing at the same time, all the time, about singers. Like, references. Let
me just say, I was so proud of myself when I thought about that for my own self, when I was writing my notes, because I am not, country music is not my first love.
Right.
But I like a whole lot, I listen to and have heard a vast amount of music. So I knew some Reba songs. And when I heard Grace, I was like, I think that's Reba. Let me see if James says the same thing or something similar. So when you said that,
and Stephanie and I had zero conversation about her.
No,
this is the first time we are hearing about our thoughts on Grace.
Yes.
I heard a Reba phrasing, I heard a Reba sound, but I heard a little Carrie Underwood tone.
Yes.
I was like, ooh, I like this.
That's a nice combo.
That's
a nice country combo.
Crazy combo.
Yes.
So it's like a Carrie Underwood timbre, but Reba voice.
Mm-hmm.
Is
For
weird.
Sure.
Weird. Amazingly weird.
Yes.
So I'm excited. Here's another teenager, y'all.
Right.
Here's another. How old is she?
19. 19.
She's ready. Grace is ready. Grace is ready. Grace is one of those voices where she is ready to literally drop an album and it's going to be huge.
Absolutely.
And the thing that I love about Grace's voice is Grace seems like she's going to be one of those singers that you can ask her to sing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to deliver on it. Mm-hmm. And she will stay true to her genre. Mm-hmm. But you also hear country pop in her voice too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Very marketable.
Yes.
If we're talking about country music of today.
Mm-hmm.
But she is the most country sounding artist, which is even more amazing and makes her even, in my opinion, more a star. I just loved it. I loved the audition. I loved watching. How many times does Blake get excited? Like Blake was singing with her. Like he was Blake never mouths the words. Even when a country singer sings a song, right?
Right.
Even when they do his songs, he doesn't mouth the words. He was like mouthing those words, like, and he had that big smile on his face, like leaning forward, like. I was like, come on, Blake.
Yeah.
Blake got excited because I think Blake's been waiting for like a country artist, right?
And that's exactly it. Because there have not been as many as there usually are this season. So when he heard her, his ears perked up. Yeah. He sat up and like you said, he was singing right along. Absolutely.
Putting Grace in my good ears made me also like hear it even more. I didn't hear the Reba at first until I really heard her. When I put her in my good ears this morning, I was like, who is that? I said, who does she remind you of? Doesn't sound like necessarily.
Yeah.
But then does.
Yeah.
But has a totally different timbre than Reba.
Right.
But her phrasing, her cadence in her voice is very Reba.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Loved it. She's going
Absolutely.
to go far, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on these country singers on The Voice.
Right.
Don't do it. She's going to go far.
Yeah.
What you think, Steph?
As I was referencing when we were talking about NariYella, the same with Grace. The minute she strummed, like the minute she got on that stage and hit one note, I was like, oh, she's been here before.
Right.
Like this is not her. This
first
is not
rodeo.
her first rodeo. Her voice was just, it was the cleanest country sound I've heard in a long time. It was so authentic. It was so true. It was so in the pocket. It was so comfortable. I wanted to hear her record. I'm like, where are you on the radio? Because you should be on the radio right now. Like it was incredible. I don't really have much to add on to what you said, James. She was phenomenal. She was she was the total package.
Yeah.
Total package. Incredible.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So obviously she went with.
Yes, she went with Coach Blake.
That was his last one, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, Blake finished strong.
He finished real. I don't think he could have designed that better.
That was his last one. He said, "Look, he said, I got this, baby."
Yes. Yes.
And she could be Blake's secret weapon to win his final season.
For sure.
She really could. I see her in the finale. Really do. I don't think we've said that about anyone this season yet.
Yeah.
Anyone.
Yeah.
Because we know how beloved country singers and good country singers are. You can't just be average. You got to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Doing the show. So what is her fun fact?
So she began with music with her grandfather. He shared his love of playing the guitar with her at a young age. And from then that led her to start writing her own music and playing local shows. And then at 16 years old, she was signed as a songwriter for the Mucho Love Music Publishing Company in Nashville. So, she's been around music and she's been around artists and she's been around
that means
songwriters.
She's probably got 3 albums ready to go.
Exactly.
If she was signed on at 16 and she's 19,
mm-hmm.
that means she already had a catalog. In order to be signed on as a songwriter, you got to already have a catalog coming into the game.
Come on, Grace. Watch out for her, y'all.
Those Nashville executives are probably like, here it is.
Here it is.
Hold on to those masters, Grace. All right. So that was awesome. Okay, who do we have next?
Next up is Katie Beth Farakis. She's 25 years old from Savannah, Tennessee. And she sang Ghost by Justin Bieber.
All right, Stephanie. I need to just take a moment for a second. Okay. I had my moment.
Okay.
This was one of the most beautiful voices of this entire season.
Come on.
I think Kelly said angelic.
Mm-hmm.
It was a voice from heaven. It was peaceful.
Come on,
I've never described a voice as peaceful.
Come on, peace.
It was peaceful.
Yes.
I'm taking. Look, I'm learning from because I may be old enough to be your daddy, but I'm taking lessons from you into how to let the microphone work for you.
Yeah.
Because you brought us in.
Mm-hmm.
And props to the sound engineer, because I could tell Katie was giving us almost whispers at times.
Yes.
And the ethereal floating of her voice was probably, I wouldn't say it's difficult to capture, but I'm glad you could tell you could hear a pin drop when she was singing. And she was so intimate with this song, which props to Justin Bieber. Like, I know Ghost, it's one of his biggest songs, right? But I heard just a different version of it, right? And I had a better appreciation for this song because of Katie singing it. I had a better appreciation of Katie singing this song because It was so beautiful. Like, I just can't think of another word. Soft, precious. It was very precious. And I could tell, as someone who's lost their mother, I could tell that was truly a dedicated song to her late mom. And Katie, this is a compliment to you. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but there was an innocence to your sound, almost as if you were a teenager, because I believe you were 25.
25, yeah.
And it was almost like I felt like I was like, oh, I want to check the birth certificate because I think she's saying that she's older than she is. Because there was a very youthful, young, almost teenage-like sound, but that is not a diss, right? I'm not coming for you because there is an innocence in youth.
You know what, James? Not to interrupt you, but this is what just came to me.
Please.
It's like she almost went back to the place and the time.
I'm sorry, you get me choked up a bit.
Me too. I think she almost went back to the time of when she lost her mother. Because I think she was I don't know why I'm getting choked up. I think she was 15 when she lost her mom. So it was almost like she went back to that place when she sang the song. Yeah. And literally, Niall said that he was getting chills as she was singing.
Yeah.
I was getting chills as we were talking about this song.
Yeah. Thank you. I could not put my finger on it. I was like, how can I tell Katie that she has this youthful, childlike innocence about her and her singing without saying you sound like a little girl singing? No, no, that's not it at all.
Right.
And you hit the nail on the head with that one, Stephanie. And then of course that just took me back. And to lose your mother that young, there was probably, and God forbid, I hate to, but I could be wrong, but there probably was a loss of innocence.
No,
because you got to grow up. You got to grow up.
And they said that in the package. Like, she was the oldest of 4 daughters.
Yeah.
So she took on that mother kind of role for her siblings, and almost was like a co-parent along with her father,
right? To
try to just get through. And now in this time of her life, she's able to do more of what she wants to do and have the freedom and the time to do that.
And Stephanie, I had the perfect word. The performance was very reflective.
Yeah, it was.
That's what it was, Katie. You gave a reflective performance. And that was paying incredible homage to your mother, who was looking down from heaven, just proud.
Absolutely.
That was, I don't know if I can go back and watch it without getting emotional.
I know.
because thank you, Steph, for giving me that perspective. And Katie, we hope that you'll listen to us. And we hope that this is what you were trying to emulate, and not even emulate, be. Wow, Stephanie, that's some good stuff right there. Woo!
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
What's your take? You dropped the mic with that one, Stephanie. It's like, we don't have much. Like,
I don't have much more to say. But there was this bright lightness. That's what I thought of, like this bright lightness about her voice.
Yeah.
And almost a power in her whisper, because it wasn't just hushed. There was intention behind everything that she was saying in a very quiet and introspective way. I think I agree with you when you say that. Her voice reminded me of Dolly Parton's voice. There was a Dolly Parton-esque voice. Yeah. And it was interesting because in one of her fun facts that they were saying, the app. Plug for the NBC The Voice app. It really does have really cool things as you watch. She said that one of her favorite songs that she likes to sing is Jolene. That is the jam. Okay, don't sleep on Jolene. Come on now. So
if she sings that,
yeah.
that's another one of those songs. Like you can't. Not everybody. In fact, most can't sing it.
Right.
That's sacred ground. That's sacred ground. That song.
And I think in person and in posture and in the quietness of who Katie Beth kind of seems to be or seemed to be on the stage, at least, she reminded me of Sister Mary Robert from Sister Act.
Oh, I love it. How
quiet she was, and kind of intimate in her sound. I would love to see Katie Beth open up just like Sister Mary Robert did at the end of that movie.
So yeah.
Come on. Oh yes, I love him. Incredible performance. Really, really moving. And like James said, now that we've kind of come to our own realization of what you might have, of the place you might have been in as you were giving this audition, I don't know that I can watch it again and have a dry eye.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was
therapy, Katie Beth.
Come on.
It was therapy for you and for anyone else that's been there. Or as Stephanie has, as a friend of mine, gone through it with a friend, right? So...
Come on, you gotta heal with your voice. You gotta heal. Hey. Come on.
All right. So who did she end up picking?
Coach Kelly.
Ooh. Like Kelly not only has a deep bench, she has a diverse bench.
Yes.
Kelly's gonna hit you from every angle.
Absolutely.
This season. She's gonna hit you from every angle this season. Yes. Don't sleep on Team Clarkson, y'all. Don't do it.
That's right.
One thing I almost forgot. I want to go back for a second.
Okay.
Kelly said, "Put some respect on my name." Yes, I know what that song is. Remember?
Yes, she was talking about One Night Only, and Chance told her that she didn't even know that song. She said, "Yes, I did."
I covered that.
She said, "You don't." She said, "You don't know me."
She said,
"You don't know me."
Kelly Clarkson, y'all don't come for Kelly Clarkson. Don't do it. You will lose every time.
Yes.
You'll lose. And don't come for this Team Clarkson.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
Katie Beth is the cherry on the perfect Sunday of Team Clarkson.
100%. 100%.
Can't wait to see what she does. What's the fun fact on Katie Beth?
Our fact about Katie Beth is, as we said, she dedicated the song to her mom, who unexpectedly passed away when she was 15. Her mom played piano at their local church, and now she and her husband lead worship. They write and perform. They record music as a couple, and they teach instrument and voice lessons in their community. So,
can I get a lesson, Katie Beth? I'm trying to learn how to sing that soft.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Can I get a lesson?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So who is our final contestant of the evening? Oh, of the competition.
Of the blinds. Yes.
Right.
Of the blinds. Yes.
Of the blind portion of the competition. Who was it?
Absolutely. We have Talia Smith. She's 29 years old. She is from Queens, New York, and she sang "Don't You Worry About a Thing" by Stevie Wonder.
Well, I'm just going to claim Talia as being a local because if you peeped her story, she is stationed right down the road from me and Stephanie in Fort Meade, Maryland.
Yes.
Shout out to Fort Meade. Shout out. First of all, thank you for your service, Talia.
Yes,
and all the service women and men out there. Thank you all so much.
Absolutely.
Her story. Before I even get into her, I loved her husband. I love that they've been through fertility issues and weren't afraid of sharing that part of their story. I love that Talia uses singing in recruitment.
Yes.
For the armed forces.
Yes.
And that was all before we even heard her sing.
Right.
I didn't realize, I really was not paying attention to who had one more person left.
Mm-hmm.
But when I heard her sing, I knew that Niall was going to fall all over himself when I first heard her open her mouth. Talia did something, you all, that is very bold.
Mm-hmm.
She started a song out acapulco, as I like to call it, or acapella. And for those of you that do not know what acapella means, that's with no music. It's just you and your voice. I'll never forget this. And Stephanie, I hope you'll let me talk about this because I ain't going to mention anybody's names. But somebody Stephanie's very close to. Well, Stephanie's husband and I collaborated at church together. And I had to start the song a cappella. Mm-hmm. And her husband, who was an incredible musician, singer, songwriter, said, James, he came to me, he said, James, I don't know where you found that note. I said, husband, I had to literally hum the note.
Yeah.
Walking to my spot. Because those of you who have sung a cappella, especially if it's like a new song, like if it's a song that's in you and you have a really good sense of pitch, which I have a pretty good sense of pitch.
Yes.
I don't have perfect pitch like some freakish musicians do. Because I think anyone that has perfect pitch, that's just freakishly incredible to me.
Right.
But Stephanie's husband was like, where did you find the note? And I was like, I literally had to hum it in my head. And I put the mic up to my mouth and the note was there.
Right.
So for Talia to do that, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult because you could start really on any note that you want. And to sing a song that it's Stevie.
Yes.
Right? It's Stevie. Kelly said something. Kelly said, did she say something about the song? Wow, that's a big song or something.
I think so. Yeah.
Or someone said big song, or I think it may have been Kelly. And Talia did her thing. She did her thing. Mm-hmm. I don't think we've heard the best from Talia. I think Talia is so good that she did enough to get on the show.
Right.
And I think we're going to, and this is not bad by any chance, but I think she's holding back some of her best singing, like her secret weapons. And that's scary if you think about it. That is scary.
Absolutely.
Somebody's like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to give him a taste.
Yes.
But let me get on this show.
Yeah.
And I'm going to really hose him down. Mm-hmm. She's right there, and a huge pickup for who picked her up, because this was the very last, because this person was like, I got to get somebody who I got to get a powerhouse singer. Mm-hmm. I love the arrangement of the song. Mm-hmm. I love how grateful she was for that moment, for being there, for being chosen.
Yes.
And I loved her look too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she was fly.
She looked super duper fly. She really did.
Yes.
She looked really good. And I loved, again, watching how proud her husband was of her. Because there's nothing like having the support of a spouse who doesn't necessarily sing or is not in the business.
Right.
To see how supportive they are.
Absolutely.
It was awesome.
Absolutely.
I think that she and her coach are going to have an awesome time collaborating. And I think her coach is going to find, because I'm going to let Stephanie reveal the coach, I think her coach is going to find some really good songs for her to sing. Songs that we don't expect. Because Talia has a voice that she's genre bending.
Yeah, for
She's going to be able to sing anything.
For sure.
She's going to be able to sing pop. She's good, because this was kind of like a poppy version of Don't You Worry About a Thing.
Yeah.
So I think her coach is going to have a ball with her.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So what's your take on Talia?
Talia has like this superstar tone to her voice. And I think that's kind of more just elaborating on what you just said about how how she could sing anything. I can hear her singing rock. I could hear her singing R&B. I can hear her singing pop. I just loved her. Like, I loved her. I loved that she shared her story. Like you said, I loved how grateful she was as people are giving her compliments, and, you know, just for the whole experience, how excited she was. I thought the beginning of the song was really cool. Like you said, her starting a cappella, so daring. Phenomenal choice. Phenomenal to start that way and to really just showcase your voice and saying, this is the voice. I'm going to showcase my voice, and I hope that you like it. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I think moving forward, the one thing that I could offer her as some advice is just to work on breath support a little bit, because at the ends of those lines, they kind of tailed off just a little bit.
I had a voice teacher in college tell me once, when you go to perform, 2 to 5 years of the technical training, or technique as we call it in the voice world, goes out the window. Because you've got so many other things to worry about, and the nerves. Like all the breathing exercises you worked on in voice lessons, all the phrasing exercises, the words.
Right.
It all will leave you.
Right.
2 to 5 years of all that training will go. So you got to know it cold.
Yeah.
You got to be so cold with it.
Right.
And there's an unsurmountable amount of pressure.
Absolutely. So, I mean, the one of the most beautiful things about that song is, why am I blanking out on the words? The part that goes long, but I'll be
standing on the side when you check it out.
That out. Oh my goodness. That is such a beautiful melody line.
Are you kidding
and
me?
She hit that every single time.
It was Stephanie. Yes.
She nailed that part every single time. The most
difficult part of the song was executed flawlessly.
It really was.
That's the part where people crash and burn on that song.
I know that's right.
Or they change keys.
They change it because they can't do it.
Very difficult descending vocal line.
Yes.
Very difficult.
Yeah, it was great.
It's like a modulated It's modulation. Like, it's like almost changing key as they're just. It's very Stevie Wonder, and it's very difficult.
Yes. So she did an excellent job. So can't wait to see what Talia does next in the competition.
And who did Talia close the show out with, Stephanie?
Coach Niall.
Yes. Huge pickup for Niall. They all have, you know what? We've been saying it since the beginning. This season, it's nothing to play with.
Right.
It's nothing, but they all have. I can't think of anyone that has a weak team.
No.
I can't think of any one of the coaches that has a weak team.
No.
It's going to be hard from the jump. It's going to be very difficult from the jump.
Absolutely.
All right. So we've got some, we got to change.
Yeah.
Change gonna come. Okay. Change gonna come.
Yes, it is.
And we got a huge change that Stephanie is going to update us on as far as the format goes for this season of NBC's The Voice. What you got for us, Stephanie?
Yeah, so at the end of the episode, they said quickly in passing that each coach is going to get a playoff pass in the next round, which is the battles, when 2 artists from each team, they pair up 2 artists within their team, and they sing a song together, and they have to, try to make it almost like not a duet, but they do whatever they do to, so they can both display their best vocal within one song. Right. So with this playoff pass, each coach gets 1. So what will happen is that in that scenario, both artists in the battle will advance, but one of the artists will get the playoff pass, and that winner gets to skip the knockout round and go automatically to the playoffs round. Now, when they said that, I was like, well, what's the playoffs round, right? So I continued on in my little NBC article.
Right.
And they explained that the playoffs are back. Now, this shows that I have not been watching this show consistently within the last 5 years, because I was like, what you mean they're back? What is it? So basically, the playoffs happens after the knockouts. After the knockouts, there will be 20 artists left. And the coaches will then decide. I guess each contestant will sing their own solo song during these knockouts. And this is not live. These are recorded still. And each coach will only be able to pick 2 artists to move on into the live semifinals during this playoff round.
Wow. So
once we get to lives are semifinals, and there will only be 8 artists in total. 2 per coach or 2 per team.
I like it.
I like it too.
I like it. I like
it too.
I do.
It's like, wow.
I like it. Can't wait to see what happens.
Me too.
I like it.
Me too.
I trust all 4 coaches when it comes to who they'll pick. Like, I have
100%.
no doubt that all of them will make the right choice.
For sure.
All right, Stephanie. So another awesome episode. Mm-hmm. Tell the folks what they need to hear before we wrap this up.
Sure. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Pitchy Podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you can be the first to know when we drop a new episode. And as you know, we are on YouTube. Search for the Pitchy Podcast and hit that subscribe button so you know when we drop a new video. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Pitchy Podcast for new episode alerts, episode clips, and so much more.
All right, Stephanie, you know I am geeked about next week because it's my favorite. Ooh. It's the most wonderful time of The Voice. For me, because I love the battles, okay?
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
Here for it.
Absolutely.
I'm here for it, y'all.
Yes.
So until we talk to you all again, everyone have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.